want to see his face. Just rotoscope it out or something like that, just layering. Oh, hello there, thanks for coming along. Now, there are quite a few of us who work on these pre-recorded bits you see on the show, and I've been asked to put together a greatest hits package, if you like. So, these are some of our favourites. I hope they're some of yours.
Media7's first reporter, Simon Pound, faced his time in the boil-up, filling in for Russell and receiving a dubious query from John Tamahiri.
Thank you for your time discussing...
You coming out of the closet?
See, that's the kind of talk that doesn't help, does it?
Only if you go first.
It's quite kind of adolescent.
In his time on the show, Simon covered diverse topics. Everything from competing newspapers on Waiheke...
You don't read the papers? You don't like the papers?
Oh, no, not at all. I don't read. I don't have any contact with media at all for 20 years now. I used to work in television there, so I know it's good on there.
2 homegrown wrestling shows.
Just get the trusty old basics razor blade and shove it in and go like that.
So you're making a comeback then?
What's your day job?
I sell pet supplies in supermarkets. Hey.
Oh, shit!
Take 2 reporter Sarah Daniell, who's also our researcher, turned her segments into visual treats, such as this look at the fortunes of Top Gear.
It's easy to see why you'd feel protected. It's like being clad in pig iron.
She also strayed into more risque territory. Here she is examining the world's worst literary sex scenes with novelist Emily Perkins.
Like a lepidopterist mounting a tough-skinned insect with a too-blunt pin, he screwed himself into her.
And surely there's a BAFTA waiting in the wings for her sensitive portrayal as a journalism student ground to a pulp by working in PR. She fires off press releases about condom surveys and her clients' bowel movements until every last bit of her soul is scraped away. And the only way out is to do a Sylvia Plath. But if it's range you want, Daniell brought the goods for CSI Auckland.
I've just stumbled on a critical piece of evidence that's going to lead us to solve the crime.
What is it?
It's a cigarette butt.
Bag it, tag it.
We have the whole story here. This site is a level 2 biohazard. I want you to double glove.
I'm all over it.
As the show progressed, it became clear that if we wanted to talk about the media, increasingly that meant talking about numbers. Cue a golden-haired scamp called Sam Mulgrew in a feature we called The Source.
With 845 million users per month, that's 6 times the population of Russia. It's no wonder it needs 60,000 servers. It's knocking on Google's, even China's back door. 57% of Facebook traffic comes from women, the adman's dream client. But like the book, the internet's still a spring chicken. It's 21 years old, and it's still growing like crazy. Today, 1/3 of the human race use the internet.
And that brings us to my rubbish. Not since Put a Bucket on Your Head has the New Zealand public seen anything so untethered by either professionalism...
I think I landed on my keys, actually.
...budget transparency... or highbrow wit.
God knows I always try to comport myself with dignity. Oh!
The only saving grace is that the people I got to talk to were actually mostly awesome, such as the New York-based online satire unit, the Gregory Brothers.
I brought you some things from the South Pacific, from New Zealand. Yeah. There's some refill.
Oh.
A little pad there.
Oh, this is a pad of paper.
Yeah.
I also talked to a man who seemed to have had his brain replaced with a fish finger.
It's about consistent, decisive leadership, and it's about consistent and decisive leadership around some very tough decisions. It's about stability, decisions made with a lot of stability. It's about doing the right thing and doing things right. The more mistakes I've made in the past, but make no mistake, I don't tend to make the same mistake twice.
But if this game is about telling stories, then nothing fitted the bill like my time at the Foxton Audiovisual Museum.
Well, we had a lady, Golden Ear from Auckland, and her great-grandfather had a film at Tangi Moana, and she come in and she said, thought we may have had it. And so I said, oh yeah, so we had a look through and we found one, and we played it, And it was back in about the 1930s at Himatangi, at Tangiwana. With all the boats, and in those days the estuary was full of boats and people. It was a picnic. You don't see it now. The upshot of it was she didn't quite find what she wanted. Anyway, a couple of years later on, I found the film that she was looking for. I've actually found it, but now I've lost track of it.
Now, if you've enjoyed the stuff that we've done on the show over the past couple of years, there's a huge reason why you probably liked it. That's because of this woman here. This is our editor. This is Sacha Childers, and she's been the editor of the show for how long?
4 or 5 years?
And,
since the beginning.
Since the beginning. If we're lucky enough to get your applause at the end of this, please make sure you're clapping for Sacha.